a private jet flying over the Straits of Malacca with the rear wing flapped as A-35 from Malaysia. Looking down from the side glass of the plane, you can see several lands that are like dots illuminated by electric lights in the great ocean, moving through the clouds, flowing in the middle of the thick darkness. A jet-setting young man returning to his home country at the end of a very successful business deal held in Malaysia is sipping champagne and reading a newspaper inside this private jet. Even then, this businessman had a huge amount of business. Famous chocolate, toffee, radio, aircraft, Mazda vehicles, and newspaper company are the main among them. He is very happy to be able to start the Cocoa Land deal to buy as a new step in his chocolate business expansion project. The highborn colleague of the businessman comes and inquires about his master's happiness and sits on the nearby leather-cushioned seat as per his master's request.
Sir, what about upgrading our car factory?
Why all of a sudden? Did you even want to buy a car?
Oh no, sir. We can't make cars for the amount that a common man like me can afford.
You are wrong, son. I don't want to build cars that ordinary people can afford, but my target is to make people's economy enough to be able to buy any car we made. During the two's inspiring chat, the businessman looks at the somewhat ultra-modern wristwatch on his hand, hearing the warning sound coming from it and some noise in front of the plane.
A person wearing a face mask and carrying a gun enters the plane. At the very first moment, he shoots the businessman's colleague in the head and the killer thrown away with the jolt of the plane after that. Distraught by dropping his gun, the killer fumbles for the gun that went under a seat. The businessman immediately takes 2 earbuds and puts them in his ears. The businessman presses a button on his wristwatch and looks at the killer who is pointing the gun at him. Suddenly, the assassin drops the gun and falls to the ground, holding his ears and bleeding from his ears. The plane burns out of control and speeds towards a mountain, blaring 10 warning horns. The fast-moving businessman slung his seat-up parachute bag over his shoulder and jumped, without thinking twice with the parachute moments before the plane hits the mountain. The young man, floating safely towards the land by parachute, looks at the plane hitting the mountain. The mystery of the plane that hit the mountain and burned to ashes has surprised the world, and the news about the disappearance of the billionaire businessman has shocked the whole country. What happened to that businessman after this is still a mystery.